Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as a thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I'm sure many of you heard the news that Jerome Powell at Jackson Hole, Wyoming came out this morning with some dovish statements and the markets reacted positively. Everything is up. I'll share the charts and go over all the details. But the main takeaways here is that Powell has turned dovish. It's what I was anticipating and many other folks were anticipating in the last FOMC hearing where he spoke, but he was hawkish, but he's dovish. And the markets don't even need to see the rate cuts right away. They just need to know it is on the agenda and that it's coming because markets are forward looking. We've talked a lot about these things over the years. So the market is anticipating that possible rate cuts are coming in September with Powell's very dovish statements. And, Powell referenced that the labor market is cooling and that they want to shift from looking at inflation towards the job market. And one of the things that Powell highlighted is that they want to not really look at that 2% target for inflation anymore. So they're kind of like, okay, if it's over 2, if it's near 3, it's not really a big deal. We need to make sure the labor market is good. So this was the signal the market was looking for. Very dovish, and Powell saying that the time to cut rates is near. And again, the market just needs a signal. And if you look at the Bitcoin chart, you got a big green candle. Bitcoin went to over $117,000 today. Ethereum pumped massively, huge green candle. It even broke its all-time high, going to $4,880 or so, breaking that all-time high. Obviously, though, folks, I want to remind you all, markets don't go up in a straight line. It doesn't mean that next week we're going to pump to the moon right away. This market will do its thing moving in stages, right? It's going to step its way, and then we're going to hit that parabolic zone, and then it's going to go crazy. But I want to make sure, we're setting our expectations correctly because, this is bullish. The charts were setting up for some sort of bullish catalyst to move or to give the spark, but the charts were setting up in the first place. So the news from the Fed was that catalyst that drove everything up. And it's not just crypto, folks. If you look at the S&P 500, also green candle, the NASDAQ, even the Dow Jones hit new all-time highs. So that is very bullish. We are seeing the signals that we've been looking at for a long time and talking about. And the DXY, the dollar, continues to weaken. So all positive signs, folks. We are still in the bull market, as I've been beating the drum since the tariff crash. Things are going to go higher, and ETH is really leading the market right now, and that's a very good sign because, as we've talked about, altcoins have followed ETH. I don't make the rules. This is just how it is. So the more liquidity going through ETH, the more ETH rallies and starts outperforming Bitcoin. That's very good for the altcoin market. And here, Crypto Wizard shared a great chart saying the next target or big target for Ethereum is $6,500. And if you look at Total 3, it also had a big green candle on its chart here. And that is the altcoin market, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. So this is one thing we want to look at as ETH is moving. Is this moving with ETH? And it is. So very, very good sign. Even XRP, green candle. So things are looking great. And look at this. The inverse is happening on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Bitcoin dominance is collapsing. It's what we've been tracking. I've been putting it in the newsletters. I've been sharing it on the live stream. I've been sharing it on these episodes. Folks, things are moving in the right direction here. I love what I'm seeing. We are seeing the setup for the next major rally. Even USDT dominance is starting to break down after a mini recovery recently, right? Doing the inverse of what the assets were doing. So we saw Tether minted 2 billion in USDT. That supply got put in there. And I'm waiting for this thing to break 4% because I think the markets are going to go bonkers. It's going to be very exciting, folks. So things are looking good here. I'm feeling very bullish, guys, and not because of my emotions, but because of the data, what the charts are telling me, what the on-chain data is telling me, right? So this is why my thesis has been we are in a macro bull market because the data shows us the charts, not because of some fairy tale or conspiracy theory or how I feel this morning or whatever it is, but the data. Always stick to the data because if you're operating by emotions, the market will rip you to shreds. Moving ahead, folks, we got some huge news around XRP. Stick with me, lots of big stuff here. So first, the Second Circuit has approved the joint stipulation of dismissal. So remember, both Ripple and the SEC have dropped their appeals, and the Second Circuit has approved it. So things are moving along. XRP haters are crying somewhere in the corner, punching air right now, but we're about the facts, not emotions, not maximalism and low IQ activity. We want to operate like smart, informed investors. And folks, things are really opening up here for XRP. And we even got some very big news with Ripple and SBI. So Ripple and SBI plan RLUSD stablecoin distribution in Japan by 2026. So this is interesting. So they plan to do this in Japan to capitalize on the country's evolving stablecoin market. RLUSD, fully backed by US dollar deposits and other assets, aims for a 2026 launch with monthly third-party attestations. The partnership is seen as a significant step in enhancing Japan's digital finance infrastructure and stablecoin reliability. So this is very big news. And remember, RLUSD is issued on the XRP ledger in addition to Ethereum. So the more activity RLUSD has, the more benefits it will bring to the XRP ledger, because we've often talked about Metcalfe's law and Reed's law, network effects. So this is a main principle in blockchains. It doesn't just apply to the XRP ledger, it applies to all blockchains. And look at this, folks. All of the XRP Spot ETF filers updated their ETF filings today. And James Seyfert, ETF analyst at Bloomberg, said almost certainly due to feedback from the SEC, good sign, but also mostly expected. So the SEC pushed back the deadline for these ETFs to October. So I've been saying we could see the blow off top in Q4 because you got Congress passing legislation, the ETF approvals, the China tariff situation pushed back to 90 days, which puts us in October. You got global liquidity topping out in middle of September. So all these things align with a blow off top, right? Huge narratives that mainstream will run in and that will fire up retail to come in. So the filers are getting ready for that approval, my friends. This is really great. Nate Geraci, who I've had on the podcast a lot, talking about altcoin ETFs, he said S1 amendments rolling in today on spot XRP ETFs includes Canary, CoinShares, Franklin, 21 Shares, Wisdom Tree, and Bitwise so far. Highly notable to see them cluster like this. A very good sign, in my opinion. Folks, you saw what the Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETFs did for those assets. So get ready for what it's going to do for XRP. And I think Solana is going to get approved too. So we're going to see a lot of capital flow into this market, folks. This is exciting. Now, quick word from our sponsor. A great place you can buy, sell, and stake your crypto is on Uphold. You can buy Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, and much more. They have 300 plus cryptocurrencies. They have 20 plus crypto assets they offer staking on. I've been a user of Uphold since 2018. I've never had any issues. They're very reliable. And folks, they are 100% reserve. You can review their transparency report on their website so they don't commingle or lend out your crypto assets. And they have a great rewards program called Uphold Rewards, where you can earn up to 5.25% on stablecoins. In addition, you can get 24-hour early access to new tokens. So the stablecoins they support includes Ripple's RLUSD, you can earn up to 5% there, and USBC, where you can earn up to 5.25% there. And to participate, you simply have to open the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. Very simple. So folks, this is a great program and they have a ton of other features. So if you'd like to learn more, go to the link in the description. Now we got more ETF news. So VanEck has filed for the first 100% liquid staking token ETF, Jito Sol ETF. So this is Solana staking base, of course. Nate Geraci says, if new to crypto, don't let the name fool you. This is simply a spot Solana ETF with some potential benefits. The SEC clarifying certain liquid staking tokens are not securities a few weeks ago was huge in this. So the SEC gave the clarity on that certain liquid staking activities are not securities, and this bodes well. You're going to see a lot happening for Ethereum staking as well, because a lot of the liquid staking is actually built around Ethereum. So guys, I hope you see what's happening here. Things are heating up nicely. And in addition, we got the first in-kind creation order for BitB. That's one of the Bitcoin ETFs. I believe it is Bitwise's. Yes, that's Bitwise's Bitcoin ETF. And if you recall, the SEC approved this just a few weeks ago, the ability to do in-kind creations and redemptions. James Seyfert says the era of in-kind creation slash redeem for Bitcoin and crypto ETFs is here. So the table's being set here, folks, for an epic, epic parabolic move. Now, this is fascinating news. The EU is exploring Ethereum and Solana for digital euro launch, according to the Financial Times. So just this week, we heard that Japan is launching their Japanese yen stablecoin on Avalanche, right? Which its native token is AVAX. So we're seeing the news coming out now. Which blockchains is one of the things I've been talking about for a long time. If you've been a subscriber, you notice I've been saying, well, keep an eye on which blockchains, and you want to make sure you're holding the tokens for those blockchains. So I have AVAX, I have Solana Ether in my portfolio. The European Union is reportedly exploring major public blockchain networks, including Ethereum and Solana, in connection with its digital euro design. The European Central Bank is considering running a digital euro on a public blockchain like Ethereum rather than a private one. They all have to bend the knee to the public blockchains. They tried to create their permissioned private blockchains. It didn't work because who the hell would trust a centralized blockchain, right? So this is incredible, and it's being reported by the Financial Times. So if confirmed, the EU's exploration of public blockchains would represent a significant milestone in the digital euro's development, given that the ECB has not yet finalized the technology framework for the project. Incredible stuff. So the use of a public blockchain is definitely something that EU officials are taking more seriously now. One of the people involved in the digital euro discussions told the Financial Times. Another person said a digital euro in a private form would look much more like what the Chinese central bank is doing than what private companies in the US are doing. So this is very, very interesting. And folks, if you recall, we just got news a couple days ago that China wants to launch a yuan stablecoin. Now, here's the thing we got to be careful with. There's a bit of a switcheroo here, right? They may be calling a CBDC a stablecoin. So you got to be vigilant and watch out and make sure you read the fine print here. Because in my conversation with Chris Giancarlo, over the years, he talked about this. He's saying, look, everybody's focused on the term CBDC, but you better watch out for the stablecoin issuers, that they are abiding by the law and that they are respecting your rights. And here in the United States, we have the Constitution, and there's certain bills that have been put into place, but still got to be careful here, folks, right? We got to watch how all this plays out, because this could be a pseudo CBDC or a CBDC itself, just with the name changed to, hey, here's a stable coin, if you get what I'm saying, right, folks? So be vigilant, and we got to make sure we hold our governments accountable and that they don't trample our rights. So this is interesting, to say the least, and we're going to see, I think, the major announcements of some of these public blockchains, just like we saw with Avalanche in Japan this week. So this is why it's important to diversify and don't be involved in maximalism. Be a smart investor and look at what's getting adoption, what is getting liquidity, what has the most upside. There are a lot of people in this market who are so brainwashed. They are married to coins. They're very religious, right? It's that maximalism mentality. And it's like a waste of time. Like, what are you doing, right? Come back to the real world. I understand you may have your ideology. You may want something to happen, but you got to balance it, right? Because then if you become some sort of authoritarian, nothing else can exist but my coin, what are you doing, right? But folks, you don't want to have that mentality. You want to think like smart money, like the whales. They don't operate like that. So this is something I've learned a long time ago, and I diversified, and it has helped me to make money and not to be caught up in feelings, emotions, and all the crazy stuff, right? All right, folks, final news item. The head of the IRS's Crypto Enforcement Division resigns. A lot of people were out there saying, bullish, are we about to see some major tax changes from the IRS regarding crypto? Who knows, with Trump, he and his kids are very bullish on crypto. we could see something really big. Maybe it is a reduction in capital gains. We'll have to wait and see, but it seems bullish. I honestly don't even know who the person is. This news just broke this evening, and I haven't gotten a chance to go see if this person was positive or whatever it is. But a lot of people were on social media sharing memes like this is super bullish, but we'll have to wait and see. But guys, we got the bullish confirmation we needed for this party to continue. The signals, the on-chain data, all those things we're seeing, we're still in the bull market. But sometimes you need that spark, that narrative spark, right? But again, narratives alone don't just carry markets. It has to be those fundamentals and principles, the charts, the on-chain data, global liquidity, and all these things I've been sharing with you guys nonstop. So exciting times are ahead. If you are planning to take profits, make sure you got that plan ready because I'm looking to take profits, guys. And if you're planning to hold through, then that's your right. You know, do what you got to do. But I'm going to be exiting all my altcoin bags and some Bitcoin I'm still holding on to. I'm selling, I would say, 80% of my Bitcoin holdings and keeping some long term. And I've often talked about like I plan to give that to my daughter and things like that, right? So that is my plan, but you don't have to follow me. Do what's best for you financially, right? And you're gonna probably see people call you an idiot for taking profits and so forth. Again, they never share their portfolio. They never share their personal details. They just post stuff on social media. So be careful. These are people trying to influence you to do different things. They want you to be stuck holding the bag and all that. I've been here since 2016. I've seen it all. And I've seen the tricks that people play. So just be careful and stick to your plan. Do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. It's your finances. And when the bull market ends, those people disappear who told you, don't sell, you're an idiot for selling, right? They don't show up. They're not there to help you if you need help financially. They're not there to help you get rid of your debt and all that, right? My goal is financial freedom, and that's I'm using crypto as the fastest horse in the asset race to help me achieve that. So hope you understand my perspective there. Folks, a great way you can support me in the podcast is by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Link will be in the description. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything about crypto. Expand your knowledge. Knowledge is power. So go to mycryptocourse.com. All the links will be in the description. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.